Hi, everyone. This is Pam Torrey from Ingaged, and you're listening to the Ingaged podcast. We know tech is changing the way people market and sell now more than ever. And on this show, I sit down with sales and marketing thought leaders to learn how you can create, share, and measure your way to success. Today, I am really excited to welcome Lance Bachmann, founder of LB Capital and the man many call the Millionaire Maker, to our show. Lance has scaled and sold 6 home services companies, including things like roofing, HVAC, painting. Honestly, you name it, he's probably done it. 4 mid 8-figure exits. His secret? A ruthless focus on customer experience and an 83% emotion, 17% price sales philosophy. Lance, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you on to talk to our audience.
Hey, thank you, Pam, for having me. We love your product. We love what it does for our in-home experience with our customers.
Well, I am excited to have you here because I think that you bring a really clear focus to an industry that is kind of dealing with a lot of upheaval right now. You know, there's a lot of moving parts going on in the industry at this moment in time. We've got folks who are like sort of panicking about the cost of leads. We have folks who are kind of suffering under the deluge of technology, like they're trying to do so much at once. And I think you bring a lot of focus to the conversation and provide a lot of direction to folks. So for those in our audience who don't know your story, can you tell us a little bit about your background and like, how did you end up here? How did you end up in this industry and founding LB Capital?
I ask myself that sometimes. It's a different road than most. I was never into home services. I was never into trades. I mean, as a young boy, I was a laborer for my brothers at roofing and concrete work, right? But my brothers always told me they wouldn't even let me lay the shingles when I was a roofer for laying shingles. They're like, "You're going to do something else." So I literally ripped all the shingles off, or I mixed the mortar for concrete. Or I carried the bricks, so. I was vice president of AT&T for YellowPages.com. I founded one SEO digital agency I sold to private equity. I was a digital marketer by trade for 30 years plus. And someone asked me to partner with them in an HVAC company. We took from 2 to 12 million. This company's around since 1944. And we went from 2 million to 12 million to 18 million, sold that to Apex. The company's probably on pace, I believe, right now to do $50 million.
Wow.
So it's just great growth when you build the foundation the right way. I made more money there in one swoop after 18 months, about 2 years, that I did in my digital agency in about 2 years or 3 years of hard work every day, because the digital agency is a grind, I tell people. So then I did it with Cherry Roofing, then I did it with Painting Pups, then I sold one SEO, and then I sold Munns, and I sold Shock IT. I just sold Munns this year for $36 million to the Ellery Group. I sold Shock IT to Magnify, an IT company. And, I just believe if you take care of your customers. So how I got here, to answer your question directly, I don't know. It just kind of happened. Now I own 7 roofing companies. I'm going to do over 100 million in roofing retail. I own technology companies. So LB Capital was formed about 2 years ago. You saw our floor, you would think it was a 20-year-old company. I do have a saying: speed to failure, speed to success. So we chase failures as fast as we can, and we chase success as fast as we can. I want to fail 3 to 4 times faster than I have success. So I know what to work on. So it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Most people are afraid of failure. I run to it.
I mean, I don't think it's that crazy, because then you know if it works or not.
100%.
You know pretty quickly if what you're doing is worth your time.
100%.
I always love this. I always love this industry because I think everybody comes at it from a very different background. Like, you have the people who come into this industry from production, more traditional routes, but then we have folks who come in who were teachers, who were doing tech sales somewhere. I'm an opera singer. Like, we have people who come from all different backgrounds and just kind of end up here because this industry sort of just takes the best of everybody and is like, we're just going to roll with it. We're going to do it.
It does. I think this industry speaks to the everyday person. I think there's an industry for the people, by the people.
So I want to talk a little bit about kind of one of the bedrocks of how you've built this success. You talk a lot in your speaking engagements and your materials that are out there about how homeowners buy.
Yep.
And that, they buy on emotion first and on price second. I mentioned in the introduction that 83-17% split. Where did that come from for you? And how do you see that typically play out in a roofing call, for example, or any of your home services or home improvement reps calls?
So if you go to ChatGPT, they'll tell you it's 20 to 30%, right? I believe it's more about, 17, 20%, right? If you just ask ChatGPT how many homeowners will make a decision just based on price, it's going to tell you somewhere between 20 to 30%. We did an interview. I got the home services when I was at a digital marketing company, and we surveyed about 500 companies, homeowners. I just asked a quick, simple question. What three things were more important to you? Came out of three things, you get to pick two. Two, customer service, meaning we give you great customer service. We take care of you. You get to choose customer service. You get to choose a great product, meaning a product we can stand behind, stands a length of time, great warranties. We know it's going to be held well. Third, price.
Mm-hmm.
Only 13 people out of 100 would pick price.
Mm.
They didn't want to give up customer service, and they didn't want to give up a great product. So that tells you, if you can tell a story of great customer service and how great your company is with customer service, and we're going to take care of you and give you a 5-star experience, right? And if I can tell you how great and be the expert on what the product is and communicate clearly that the product is going to be here for you, it's going to work for you, it's going to solve all your problems, prices last on the list. The majority of sales calls. But most people lead with price.
Mm.
Most people lead with price. And that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't be the cheapest, you're never going to win the price game.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's a real easy fact to understand.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a marketplace and you have someone that says, I'm going to go in and just be the cheapest and have a volume game,
Mm-hmm.
you're never beating that person. Because when you see someone said, guarantee to beat every price, they'll just go back and forth until someone says mercy, right? So
Absolutely.
if you can't be there, you might as well have a value proposition and an experience that make people feel good. And when people feel good, people have a hard time telling people they like no.
They do.
People have a very hard time telling people they like no. A very easy time telling people they don't like no.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about the beginning of this sales process. We have a rep who goes up to the door. They are getting ready to have a conversation with a homeowner. Maybe they get their tablet ready. They are starting that interaction. What should the homeowner see, hear, or feel in the very beginning of that interaction that should spark that emotional connection, that should spark that bond that hopefully will get them to a yes rather than having to, grapple it out over price?
So I can only go based off of, I think the stat is, don't hold me this, 70 to 80% of all decisions made at home is done by a woman still. So if you think about this, 100% of 100% are made in my house by my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what color the walls are. I don't care what color the shingle are. I don't care what kind of window it is. Like, I don't even deal with that. My wife does, right? And I think common in most houses, and we know it is, right? Just go ask anyone. But the thing that you're doing when people contact your company, and a lot of people don't understand this and they forget this, is this. The sale was already made by the time they booked the appointment. You already met the threshold, right? You already met the threshold of, I'll do business with you if you come out here and you give me an experience and I can afford it. You already met. Think about this. When are you married, single?
I am not married. No.
All right, but when you go out to dinner by yourself, you choose a restaurant you're already sold on that you know you can afford, correct? For 99% of the time, correct?
Yeah, you do all the research in advance.
You don't go and walk into a restaurant and get hit with a $2,000 bill, do you?
No.
Right? So the customer shops the same way online to book that appointment with you. So they made the appointment. So you already passed what I call the sniff test, I trust you test, by your online reviews, your presence, this and that, right? But it amazes to me, so many people don't show up. I'm wearing LB Capital gear, right? Even here. So many people won't show up in a company logo, company shirt. Why not? It automatically de-escalates that homeowner of, I can trust this person. It's who I bought. They don't have a name badge. De-escalate. They don't have a wrapped vehicle, right? They don't have a swag bag or some type of literature to hand them immediately. All those things do. is put the homeowner into, or anyone, wherever business is, into a state of relaxation, into, okay, you are who I called. When you go to a doctor's office, right? When you walk in, the receptionist, they have this sign of where you're walking. It says Rothman Institute, or wherever it may be. Then the people all wearing badges, yes. And when you walk in, the doctor's normally wearing a white coat, and the nurses are normally wearing their nurses' outfits with a badge, right? Like, this isn't hard to figure out, right? And people just, for some reason, cannot connect the dots of putting people into that trust state. So once you're past that, now you're entering the home, and a whole nother sequences of things happen. But I show up with a wrapped vehicle. I show up with branded gear, looking good, no jeans, slacks. I'm presentable. I have an iPad in hand, right? Technology showing it is 2025, the same way everyone has a mobile device with them, right? Right. I'm not living in the Stone Age. And I'm going to give you an experience, and I'm credible, and you can trust me.
So you're really talking about like this layer of professionalism that like the best reps have, the best companies are really putting that professional foot forward instead of just kind of showing up as they are, especially if I'm going to trust you with my biggest investment, if I'm going to trust you with my house, which is where I live, it's where I spend a lot of my time. I would prefer that my sales rep looks professional and looks like they know the job versus being kind of grungy.
Well, you got to think about it this way, right? If you know a contractor that does something and he's your friend, you probably doesn't care how he shows up, right? He's your friend, right? I have contractors that are my friends that do work around my house. I don't care how they show up. But if you're not my friend and I don't know you, I expect you to be dressed a certain way and have a certain appearance because you're around the most important product around me, my wife and my children.
Yeah.
So yes, I think if you can't be professional, why would I hand you my business?
So you mentioned technology. We have reps who show up with their iPad, or they show up with their tech stack. Tech stack, however that looks. If they're using measurement tools, if they're doing different things with quoting and estimating software. But I think a lot of contractors, a lot of sales leaders, business leaders in this industry go about just implementing tech without having any kind of vision. They just bring stuff in because they think that oh well, somebody else is using this tech, but they haven't thought about how it actually impacts both their sales reps and their customer experience. So can you talk about how you coach leadership teams to articulate like a customer experience vision when they bring technology in, something that everybody can get on board with? Because you just said that like the best companies, they've got this professionalism, they have this slick technology in their hands, but if they don't have a vision for it, it's going to die.
So I can give you Munz as an example. Munz is probably the first one where we said we got to tell the story of Munz when we're in the home, because Munz was a great story, and we just sold that for $36 million to Elwood, right? And we did that in less than 18 months.
Wow.
So I want you to think about that, right? So we threw this company, and it was all by storytelling and giving the homeowner experience. And we were the mid-price in the marketplace. So we weren't the highest. We're the mid-price. All my companies are the mid-price, but we truly believe we give you a 5-star experience and an A+ experience in customer service. But we charge you mid-price. We're never going to be the Chuck in a truck. We're never going to be that guy, right? But we walked in, and this is when we came up with Munz, we said we got to separate ourselves. And what just happens to be, and I'm going to use your company as an example. You guys are actually out of New Hope. I don't know if I'm sure you do know that. Your founders out of New Hope, Yardley. I am from Bucks County, right?
Oh, fantastic. My mom is from there too. It's a
it's
a great place.
So I get a referral to speak to, I forget your founder's name. What's his name? Roy, really nice guy, right? So I'm looking at this PowerPoint presentation ultimately, kind of, right? And I'm like, well, I can do this myself. So we went and we built it, and it was, mark my words, dog shit, right? It didn't give the storytelling, right? Or we stole it and we said we're going to use it, right? We brought your technology in, and then we said, okay, we're going to tell the story. And we actually paid you guys to build it. I don't know if you guys, if you know this.
I know. Yep, I remember.
We paid you to build it. And I didn't want to pay the money. I think it was, at the time, you got to remember, I was just starting Munz. I had had partners. I don't know if I spent 10 grand to have it built or something like that, whatever it was. And when we got the analytics back to see what was happening in the home, that we weren't storytelling, that we weren't spending time on site telling our story, our conversion rate was like this. But for our reps that were spending time on the PowerPoint, it's not a PowerPoint, I'm the slideshow, but we could see who was spending time on what, whether they were going to financing, spending time in pitching finance right away. If they were going and they were telling our company story, our conversion rates were through the roof. Like, just, it was insane. And we took that company from about $2-3 million in total revenue to we took it to 20 plus million in our first year full retail.
Wow.
Because we gave the homeowner a customer experience. We weren't dropping to the lowest price that was off the table. We knew we had to meet margin. We knew we were going to sell this company to a private equity firm. We knew we had to build it for sustainability. We knew we needed a system and process. We had sales reps that never even sold roofing before, that were car salesmen, that we had people that were delivery people.
They come from everywhere.
They do, that could go out and sell roofs. And I think, the moral of my story is when you're sitting in front of a customer, it can go 101 different ways. But if you have technology to get you through the process and constant reminders and indicators of what to stay focused on and what key points, your success rate's going to be a lot higher.
Yeah, you're talking like the guardrails, the things that you're not necessarily forcing the sales rep into a specific pattern, because occasionally you encounter that unicorn customer who might need something a little bit different, but you're giving them reminders along the way to say, this is what you should be doing. This is what the customer needs to know.
Listen, it's called a sales process for a reason. I mean, if the data never lies, right? And that's what I like about your product, I like about Service Titan. When you just look at the factual data, someone will be like, I'm a great salesperson. And I was like, well, your paycheck doesn't show it, number one. So you ain't that great. Number two, your close rate doesn't show it, number two. Number three, the people that you say aren't great salespeople are just following the process and they're closing. Why don't you try following this process and see what happens? And if it doesn't get better for you, okay, do what you want to do. But seldomly do you ever see people follow the sales process and not have success. And, it's funny because I say all to all people that I meet, the people I see that are successful in anything, whether it be sales, whether it be being entrepreneurs, they live in a mode I call being a constant student. They're constantly learning. They're constantly trying to educate themselves. And the guys that I see and girls I see that aren't very successful are the know-it-alls, constantly shouting how they know this, they know that, they know this. They don't ask questions. They're always telling people how to do things. So there's some irony in that, I think, too, when it comes down to technology and using it in your house.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about that customer experience, and specifically your experience as being that middle option in the market, because I think that a lot of our customers, a lot of folks who listen to this and watch our content, want to be able to differentiate themselves, but know that undercutting on price is not the best option, but also know that, like, maybe in their market, being the super most expensive option is not going to work for the volume that they need to produce in order to be profitable. So how do you believe that customer experience can be a great differentiator? You talk about connecting with the customer. Can you talk a little bit more about how, like, across that customer life cycle, how experience can be that differentiator for a roofer, for a remodeler?
I mean, I don't know how anyone would think it's the experience. Everything. It's. I take sales back to the simplest form customer experience, to dating. Why do guys win the girl they want versus guys that don't get the girl? They give her an experience, whatever that experience may be, right? The girl that wins the guy when all these other girls are trying. It's the experience, right? Homeowners want to experience. Shoppers want to experience. They want to feel good. They want to know they're going to be taken care of. They want to experience. Listen, with so many, if you're typing in a chat GPT and they're telling you only 20 to 30% of your customers will buy solely on price, then what's the other 60, 70% buying off, 80% buying off of? Off of an experience, off of trust, off of customer service, the things that people value. If If that wasn't the case, right? And I'm not sitting here, and I'm not going to use. I'm going to use these high end steakhouses. Outback Steakhouse, I think, is the best steak in the country by far. I think it has the best tasting steak out there, right? But the experience is garbage when you're in there compared to if you go to a Capitol Grill, a Del Frisco's, and Eddie V's, right? It's just, but you give me the steak from Eddie V's or a steak from Outback, I prefer that Outback steak for whatever reason. It just tastes better, right? But the experiences are totally different. So where do I go 80% of the time? I go to Capitol Grill at EVs because I like the experience. My wife likes the experience. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with your homeowners when they're shopping. They want someone that's well dressed, looks good, presentable, has a professionalism that's going to take care of them, going to answer their phone. If there's a problem, there's someone in the back office that's going to take care of them. They want a proving history of success, of satisfied customers. And if you can articulate all these things, and then you can just connect with the homeowner, you're gonna sell a lot more than you don't.
So I want to talk quickly about the roofing process conference because we've gone several years in a row. We love it. It is a great event in the industry. We're looking forward to being back again this year. This episode is going to be coming out just before it. So for anyone who hasn't attended before, what can they expect from this event that you put on?
It's not like any other event. There's no big parties, as you know, if you've been here. There's no big, it's not a big drinking thing. There's not a ton of drinking. Listen, there's some bars and people have drinks, which I mean I drink, so like people are like thinking, oh yeah, I drink. But if you're gonna spend all that money, invest in a plane ticket, come there. We want to help you scale your business, make it more profitable. So we're teaching you about sales, we're teaching you about systems, processes, marketing, leadership, all these things I've done to build my companies, and that's all the conference is around. And obviously, the private equity side of things, we teach people a lot about how to sell their company. Also, the conference name will be changed this year, after this year, to build it to sell it. Everyone knows that. So when you walk in, you won't even see roofing process conference everywhere. It's going to be built to sell it everywhere, and it's going to be our flagship opening of. I truly believe every company you have is your biggest asset, and people treat it like a job. So you should build it to sell it. And you don't have to always sell it. You turn it down to your kids. But when I say build it to sell, it means scale it, profitable, and make sure you don't leave somebody a headache.
We're really looking forward to being back. We do enjoy that. It is like it's what you preach. You know, it's a very professional event. We always have a good time, and our team always learns something. And I believe this year Dean is speaking on one of the panels, so we're really jazzed to be there.
Absolutely, he's a good guy. And listen, I can tell you this: people that do listen to this, if you haven't checked out Ingaged as a home service, as your in-home, it's a great tool. I mean, and it's a tool. It's like anything else. When you're building a house, I say this to my salespeople all the time: we're going to give you tools to build a house. If you don't pick them up and use them and engage them, the house ain't ever going to be built. The same thing with your product. If you embrace it and you use it, you're going to see your conversions go up. And if you use the data from the back end of it, your leadership team is going to be able to help coach and train your salespeople even better.
Well, Lance, before we wrap up, what is one trend that you think remodeling leaders need to pay attention to as we wrap up this year? You know, people are trying to figure out what they're going to spend their money on before the end of the year, what they might need to do to prep for 2026. What's one thing that you're watching?
All I deal with is marketing and AI right now for all my companies. So I think it's the biggest thing to watch. I think if you can't produce leads, you don't have a company. I think if you're not looking at automation once you get in somewhere and follow up, because we know this, the majority of salespeople don't follow up no matter how much you scream. And the majority of sales managers don't follow up with what's in the pipeline. So, automation. It's funny. We have a rehash team here, Pam, and so many salespeople get upset about it. I'm making it even bigger, my rehash team right now. I'm like, if I have one guy selling $500,000 a month in roofs over the phone, just rehashing, I do that by 8, it's going to be $4 million a month. You times that by 12, it's $48 million a year just in rehash. I mean, people don't realize these numbers scale. So you got to look at it and say, how do I assist my salespeople? And they'll say, well, I don't want help. Well, guess what? It's my job to ensure the outcomes of this whole entire company, not just you.
Well, Lance, this was gold. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to have you on.
All right. Well, thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. If you need anything, let me know. I look forward to seeing you in Marco Island.
We're excited for it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Ingaged podcast. Visit engaged.io for more insights on how to create, share, and measure your way to success. If you love the show, please subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.